Okay, so this is one of the courses I credit with bringing me back to golf. And a lot of people be like, why would this course bring you back to golf? Well, it was Bodega Bay and Chardonnay were the first two golf courses that got me to leave playing Buchanan Fields for the rest of my life. These are the first two adult courses that I played. The first hole is actually a really great first hole. It's just a wide open hole that has a pin typically centered on the left-hand side of the green. I hit a decent drive, bad approach, and a fantastic chip, honestly. Once again, as you've been seeing, it's winter. These greens were just punched. I came here to play them because they typically have really good greens. They have really long greens that typically make for 3 putts. Look at me slam that in and make it look like it's nothing. On this given day, it was actually raining, so you guys can probably go back in time and figure out what day I played on. Second hole at this course is pretty much a bogey hole unless you're a fantastic driver of the ball. The driver sets up everything. It's a dogleg left and it's over 400 yards, but it actually can play much longer depending on what line you take. The further you miss right, the further the hole is. I tried to get a 7-wood there, missed out left, and then I hit a really good chip. I feel like if this was not wet and the greens weren't punched, that probably would have been a lot better, but that was good. As you can see, a little bit of rain. I'm really hopeful that I get to play Ireland for golf this year. So this is like my little preparation for Irish golf, was like days like this, you know, like in boxing. You might have to fight sick, so then you practice sick every now and then. Third hole, downhill par 3. It's about, I don't know, $175, maybe a $180, maybe a little bit longer than that. As you can see, this is kind of the appeal for me in terms of the short game at Chardonnay. That's a lot of different slopes and a lot of different ways to go to that pin. As you can see, it was really raining, so there you go. I keep saying as you can see, and I missed that comebacker. What I like about Chardonnay is there's a variety of holes. There's 6 par 4s, 6 par 3s, 6 par 5s, and beyond that, the green complexes allow you to get creative. It's not just one shot. I almost thought that I was going to be in trouble with this one. There's the Where the Wild Things tree, and then there's Trouble Left. I actually hit that to the perfect spot. Oh my god, laugh at that. That was just a straight up pull. If you hit a big slice, be aware on this hole that you got to go as far left as possible because this is meant to punish a slicer. Had an approach in, but I was in between clubs, and I haven't been hitting that lob wedge all that great. Maybe leave a comment if you know what I'm doing wrong. And then sand wedge, not this. In retrospect, that wasn't the softest hands, but it was a decent effort. Gave myself something and kind of rolled the rock good for like punched greens on this day. So that was a decent par. This is the shot that I left thinking about the most, and I was actually happy about it, but the result wasn't good. So this is a pitching wedge, and I tried to hit it downwind to this rocky area with water, and I carried about 137 and hit a rock, and it hit the bridge. So it went into that area, and it was a sucker pin, but I made the right contact, and it was right on line, and I left thinking, okay, maybe I figured something out. I don't love the way my feet were aligned, but the contact on that strike was really good. I'm sure I could do better because Jason Day has that swish, that ninja sword strike. But really, for where I'm at and what my expectations are, that was a great strike, and I was like, okay, that's good. I didn't feel like playing from that drop area on a rainy day. I'm just out having fun. So there was a range ball someone had left, so I just played from where that was. That's my third strike. Honestly, it probably touched land when it hit the rock because it carried very well and then just went backwards. So here it is, missed the comebacker, double bogey. And that's kind of what can frustrate people about Chardonnay is you can 3-putt pretty quick here. This is a very cool hole where it's a downhill par 4 where it's just slicer's paradise. If you can hit a slice, you're going to be so happy because you just turn that corner. I turned the corner on a 400-plus yard hole and had a gap wedge into my hand, which is a cool feeling. As you can see, once again, really interesting kind of slopes that you have to face. And just love the option and the different views and challenges that a course like Chardonnay provides in terms of the short game. 7 is one of the hardest holes on the course. This is on this particular day, I played it fairly well, but it's basically, from my skill set, I can't get there in two. Like, I'm just not long enough to get there in two. So I had to hit driver, lay up with I think that was about like a 7 iron, and then I had an 8 iron in my hand. I was so pumped on this because there's hazard all down the right hand side, and there's a big hill that if you miss left, you go up that hill, and then you have to try to stop a ball going down a hill into that stuff, and it just sucks. So something flashed, but I don't feel like editing it out. And as you can see, there's just a lot of tiers of greens. It was raining pretty decent when that was happening, and I just hit that as hard as I could. Number 8 is one of the coolest holes, and of course a downpour started. I was going to tee from the top section, but the rain was really bad, and I just decided I would just want to get through this hole. This was the only hole I got really downpoured on, and it's a shame because I wanted to give you that really cool, there's an epic view from the top of a mountain onto this green. It's about 140, maybe 150 yard shot, and it's a pretty cool shot, and it's a very memorable shot. The 9th hole is a hole unlike the 7th where you can go and get some strokes back. As you can see, I'm definitely drenched. My pasatiempo, probably Peter Millar jacket, is not happy, and hit it out there. But obviously this course is a course that I think plays better when it's warm. It's like Chardonnay or Silverado, like they're meant to be firm conditions. So wet, this course can play a lot different. Not frustrated with the way I just thought myself through those 3 approaches. The 3rd shot with the 58-degree wedge wasn't the best. The face was open and I just kind of gave up on it, but it still gave me a good result to try to go for par. This is a hole where left and right is death, so if you just can keep the ball in play, you're probably going to score all right. I really love the strike of this one. The 10th hole, once again, is another par 5. It starts you by where the carts are. I went over a bunker, which is like incredible on this day, but then the golf gods were like, yeah, we're not going to let you have 2 good shots. Tried to hit my 7 wood and caught it fat, but then I hit a really good gap wedge that I was absolutely pumped on. I'd love to break down that one. And it just didn't run out. It hit that hill, but it was just so wet. Probably could have hit the pitching wedge. I just get scared of where you're going to miss on this course. I always want to miss going uphill and in the rain. There we go. Look at the stud. But yeah, 2 very gettable par 5s. That the 10th just is a dog leg left. 11 can be really hard, or it can be really gettable in my opinion. This one I lined up thinking I'd hit a cut, and I just hit it straight to where I was lined up to. And I actually got lucky. I hit that fence, had a really long shot in, made pretty good contact. I think I caught a flyer out of that rough. Somebody let me know if that was a flyer. But this is a pretty straightaway hole. There's just a lot of bunkers and a hazard as you get closer to it, and I almost holed that. That was like a wet bunker, and I nearly holed that, and that was just a stud shot. 12, really, really hard golf hole. So there's all types of hazard. Those trees are all hazard. That's hazard right, hazard left. And then this is one of the longest greens on the course. This is for sure a bogey hole when you go to it. Maybe even a double bogey hole. I, on this day, got extremely lucky. I hit a pitch, and I didn't quite get it there, and then it was wet. So I'm just like, I'm just going to run it by and get my double bogey. It happened to go in. So, I mean, I made par, but that's the outlier. You can, unless you're a really good golfer, that is not a hole you're expecting. Look at how pumped I am. Okay, weather's back. Your boy just parred a really hard hole. This is a hole I feel is very gettable, but at the same time, I have struggled on it because I'm not talented. We all know that if you follow this. Really, really some of the prettiest holes on the course. It takes advantage of the vineyards, both sides. I think it's framed very well. It's just an interesting hole. I just love when I get to this section of the course, these next few holes, it's always really fun. Short side of myself here, and not the worst effort, just wanted that to get a little higher. Look at the Star Trek effect, pretty cool cross dissolve, and then pushed it. What a terrible golfer. This is the signature hole. I think it's like a heart-shaped green around the wine vineyards, and it's just downhill. On this day, it was into the wind, cold, hit a 6 iron, one in front of the tips. And this is pretty friggin' awesome because this does not happen all that time. Go to the signature hole, put it on the fairway or the green, and then drop it for a birdie. It's always good to knock off a signature golf course hole birdie because it feels like, okay, we've knocked off one achievement there. So really pumped on that. Didn't expect that. This is Slicer's Paradise. It's a really gettable par 5 if you slice it. I just pulled the heck out of it. Got lucky it stayed in because it was wet. And then just hit Tempo Town 7-iron right to there. Totally took going for it out of play, but as you can see, there's tons of hazards. There's bushes right and left and all types of stuff. You can see I'm like, should I hit another one? Because it's like all wet. Hit the mega slice on that one. Kind of missed that outright, but honestly, that's the way you want to miss. Because at this course, if you miss left, you lose a golf ball in this hole. So I had that, and nope, didn't drop, so that's a bogue. So on this day, I was thinking about playing Lake Chabot. Look at that awful feet alignment. Man, I gotta work on that. And Chabot, one of their best holes, besides the par 6, is hole number 9. And this hole basically is hole number 9. And what's cool about Chardonnay, to me at least, is this isn't one of the holes I think about as like a standout hole in this course. And that kind of speaks to the strength of Chardonnay. Chardonnay is really tough and has the long greens, but has a lot of great features. Tried to do Tempo Town with my driver, and that just created like a nice sweeping slice that was not all that awesome. But I had a 6-iron in, which was a lot more than I wanted on this hole. It's like a 430-yard par 4. It's typically one of the hardest, and this is the green. There's hazard all down your right-hand side, and there's these weird bunkers. Hit a really good chip from that side hill, and just couldn't convert for that. So it actually kind of like did a weird little lip out thing. So too bad it's not COVID golf anymore. The final hole here is a par 5 in theory, but it really is a par 4. So if you can finish with a birdie, you're pretty happy. I just didn't hit that 5-iron at all. Like, I just did not hit it. I've had 5-iron confidence issues. This is the first time I haven't ever hit this green. But the positive thing is, if you come short of that creek, you just get to hit a wedge over. Still not the greatest. As you can see, these greens are very, very big. And 2-putt for par. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave a recommendation so I can finish this year off strong, and let's try to get some more people subscribed to my channel. Thank you. It's Lukie.